In the early hours of September 5, 1972, 8 members of the Palestinian terrorist organization Black September infiltrated the Olympic Village. Disguised as athletes and carrying concealed weapons, they climbed the perimeter fence and made their way to the building housing the Israeli Olympic team. The terrorists were armed with AK-47 assault rifles, grenades, and pistols smuggled into the village in gym bags. Their primary targets were the Israeli athletes, a deliberate choice meant to draw global attention to the Palestinian cause. Black September was motivated by a desire to secure the release of 234 Palestinian and Arab prisoners held in Israeli jails, as well as 2 German radicals detained in West Germany. The attack began around 4:30 a.m. The terrorists burst into the apartment shared by the Israeli athletes, killing 2 immediately, wrestling coach Moshe Weinberg and weightlifter Yosef Romano, while 9 others were taken hostage. Weinberg attempted to fight off the attackers, allowing 1 athlete to escape, but he was ultimately shot and killed. Romano was shot while trying to defend his teammates and was left to die in front of the other hostages. As the day wore on, the terrorists grew increasingly impatient. The negotiations were complicated by the fact that Israel, under the leadership of Prime Minister Golda Meir, steadfastly refused to negotiate with terrorists or to release prisoners. The Israeli government feared that acquiescing to the demands would only encourage further acts of terrorism. As negotiations stalled, the West German authorities proposed a ruse to move the hostages and their captors to an airport, under the pretense that they would be flown to Cairo. The plan was to launch a rescue operation at Fürstenfeldbruck Air Base, where sharpshooters and police officers would ambush the terrorists and free the hostages. However, the plan was severely flawed. The German police and security forces were woefully unprepared for such a complex operation, lacking the training, coordination, and equipment needed to deal with a hostage situation of this magnitude. Moreover, they underestimated the number of terrorists involved. Only 5 marksmen were positioned to target what was thought to be 5 attackers, leaving 3 terrorists unaccounted for. The operation began shortly after 10 p.m. on September 5th, as the helicopters carrying the hostages and terrorists landed at Fürstenfeldbruck. What followed was a nightmarish and chaotic sequence of events. The German snipers missed their initial shots, and a fierce gun battle erupted. The terrorists, realizing they had been deceived, opened fire on the hostages and lobbed grenades into one of the helicopters, causing it to explode in a fireball. By the time the gunfire ceased in the early hours of September 6th, all 11 Israeli hostages had been killed. Some shot at close range, others burned alive. 5 of the 8 terrorists were also killed in the firefight. Along with 1 West German police officer, and the remaining 3 terrorists were captured.